I would like to talk today about global awakening. Global awakening is connected directly to religiosity. It's hard to believe it, but religiosity we usually define as going to church, going to mosque or going to synagogue and just pray there. That we pray once a day or maybe 3 times a day or once a week. Depends on the day. Sometimes could be Friday, Saturday or Sunday. So it seems to us that religiosity is just basically nothing else but repeating certain activities. It could be prayers, it could be meditation even, or certain action. But what religiosity has to do with global awakening humanity actually that is experiencing right now? I'm going to read from my book Everything is an Illusion. Prayer, visualizations, reading spiritual and inspiring books, coaching, workshop, helping others are all noble and advisable, but they never solve anything. There are those escape routes, thanks to which we feel better for a moment. They separate us from something that we are escaping from, that we don't want to face, and our subconsciousness tells us is going to happen soon. Indeed, if we don't change our consciousness filled with pain, we will attract unfortunate accidents. Then, truth is divulged, and we have the chance to face it. Life confronts us with it. Let's not prolong our healing. Time is ticking away. You see, we very often believe or have this inner conviction and feelings that when we pray, when we meditate, when we volunteer, when we share with other people, we are not cultivating religiosity, that we are not religious, that nothing can be further from the truth. COVID-19 or coronavirus is showing us as humanity that we need a global awakening, that we have been cultivating religiosity in our life. Because if you look at our life, we prefer to help, we prefer to share, instead of look into our consciousness where is the true pain and transform that pain. So we prefer to find an escaping road or track in the form of sharing or volunteering, instead of dealing with our consciousness. And this is actually being religious. If we look at our past, and if we talk about our past, we actually see that if we were these right people who are dealing with different kind of situation in life, dealing in a proper way, so if we did something good in the past because we helped people or we had been living in an appropriate way, why we are right now in the effect experiencing this crisis? You know that if we talk about karma and reincarnation, it's a film that has been divided into many sub-chapters, let's say, sub-films. And if you believe in reincarnation, if you know what it is, you know that it's a cause and effect law. So we have to experience in this lifetime something that we didn't transform in a previous incarnation as a result of our action. So if we, in other words, today are experiencing whatever we are experiencing, that is the effect of our causes, of our actions in the previous lifetime. The same applies to this lifetime we are dealing right now. If we 5, 10 or 15 years ago, or maybe few days ago or few hours ago, were dealing and choosing this right decision in our life, why in essence in a result, we are having these challenges with coronavirus. Why universe is showing us that something is not right, that we perhaps didn't choose wisely. I think we should begin by considering the concept of free will, which has been the subject of myriads of publications. We learn from the books on psychology that in the present moment, that is here and now, we build our consciousness and choose between what is good and bad for us. Unfortunately, I cannot agree with this definition of free will, because if we know that one action is negative and at the same time the choice thereof could inconvenience us or other people as opposed to the second opinion, then the choice of the obvious, less problematic variant wouldn't be acting out of free will, but out of common sense. Free will in a given scenario presupposes the existence of either two positive or two negative variants which have a comparable level of difficulty, which means they are validated by more or less the same number of facts. Free choice is when we face in life two equally important scenarios, positive or negative, and it is not obvious at all what to choose. They seem equally justified. If we talk about present, we usually tend to believe that in the present we have free will to choose, and we choose it right usually because we know what is good and what is bad. Let's say in inverted comma bad, because everything is good. So if we don't steal, if we don't cheat, it means that we had free choice and we choose right, or the, let's say, the proper way. But this is not free will, because we know as human what is right and what is not. This is not free will. We didn't choose. We actually have been religious. We have been cultivating by this religiosity. Because again, if we look at our life today, we see that every day there are different news in social media or in media showing us that we believed something in the past that today it's out of order, that today it's not appropriate anymore, it's not ethical, it's not moral. For example, that men took advantage of women, or that employer took advantage of employees. Soon you will see that women took advantage actually of men. You will see that soon. So you see, everything what we have known so far was based on something that we didn't question. And being religious or religiosity and cultivating religiosity means that we are not asking questions, that we are not asking questions what we are doing, why we are doing, why we are not facing with pain. And coronavirus is showing us this particularly in the way we live, because every single area of our life, not only business, but family, friendships, is questioned today, is showing us that whatever we knew or we thought it was right was just an illusion, was just cultivating religiosity. Our way today is to understand that we should transform our consciousness, that we should question our consciousness, we should question our pain, we should question life challenges that just happen to come back again and again and again. They just reoccur very often. It happens and again and again. So the crisis is showing us that we didn't want to deal with our consciousness. We wanted rather to find escape roads, help other people, pray for other people. And it doesn't matter, we can meditate even every day, and this also could be religiosity. This also could be cultivating religiosity. So if you look at it, and from perspective of the crisis, you will notice that we as humankind haven't been searching for answers, that and questioning that the way we lived in the past, whatever that was without consciousness. It was actually with ego. And our job is to reconsider that and look one more time into our actions, into our pain, and transform that pain, transform that, so that we are not going to be religious.